Several years ago, I was stranded with my wife in a place called West Hollywood. So we decided to grab a cup of coffee, and the store window had a sign warning customers, "No cash accepted." At the time, I thought it was rather berserk to reject cash. Fast forward to now, nobody wants cash. They want Venmo. They want Square. They want Bitcoin. Buy now, pay later. Everything but cash. And today's ETF Battles is a fintech triple header between ARKF, Finx, and TPAY. So who wins the battle? Find out right after this. Welcome to ETF Battles. I'm DeLegge. Great to see you again. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. If you've been enjoying our programs, our originals like this one, as well as First Look ETF and others, be sure to hit the like button. The fintech space is growing by leaps and bounds. It encompasses everything from e-payment processing to cryptocurrencies, and now we've got buy now, pay later services. I mean, it goes on. And today's showdown was requested by a viewer named C. Knobloch. It's between ARKF from ARK Investment Management, Finx from Global X, and TPAY from Ecofin. Helping us to judge today's contest is a highly esteemed and capable duo. We've got Todd Rosenbluth with CFRA Research and John Davi with Astoria Portfolio Advisors. Guys, welcome back to the show. It's great to see you.
Hey guys, good to see you here.
Great to be with you.
So we got our 4 battle categories for today's triple header: cost, exposure strategy, performance, and then our mystery battle category, where you, the judges, can surprise us with that mystery factor that you feel is important to today's showdown. And then at the end of the show, we're going to declare an overall final winner. Our judges can opt for a split decision. If they have no winner in a specific category, they can also protest. They can't boycott the show, though, but they can protest. And so let's get started. I've got the scorekeeping chores. John, cost is the first category. Get us started.
Yeah, so TPAY is the winner. It's 40 basis points. ARKF is 75, and Finx is 68. So TPAY wins at 40 basis points. It's the lowest of the 3.
Very good. Thank you, John. Next up is Todd. In terms of cost, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers certainly put TPAY as the cheapest one. I would note it's an extremely small ETF with almost no trading volume. And while and I'm sure John agrees, you can create new shares if you're interested in this ETF, you're going to see very little appearing on the screen. So yeah, TPAY is in there, but I actually think that Finx is going to have more volume and still be the cheaper alternative to ARKX. So I'll give TPAY, but it's a really small ETF.
Very good. Thank you for that disclosure and extra information, Todd. Next up is exposure strategy. So which of these ETFs stands out to you, Todd?
So my winner in this case is going to be Finx because it's a blend of some of the newer companies in the fintech world and payments world and some of the older ones. Whereas ARKX is more on the new side of it with Shopify and Zillow and being among the leading stocks. And the other fund that is much more old school, more traditional credit card companies. So I think if you're looking for a longer term theme, you want to have a balance of both the new and the old. And we at CFRA just find this to be a good collection of stocks as we look forward.
Excellent. Got you down for Finx in exposure strategy. Thank you, Todd. John, you're next. In terms of exposure strategy, how do you see it?
You know, I think this space being like very idiosyncratic, here's where, so we own the ARKF and one of our disruptive technologies model portfolios. I just think that you've got to have active management in this space. It's a very complex area. It's definitely weighted more towards Square. Square is like 10% of the ARKF, whereas, it's a lot lower in the other ETFs. But, here's an example where I think you can be active and use Kathy Wood's ETF. So I give the winner to ARKF, just giving her success and being an active manager in the disruptive growth space. So that's my winner, ARKF.
Thank you, John. Next up is performance. And you're still up, John. So which of these 3 ETFs stands out in terms of actual results?
I think you want to look, very far historically, but the problem is that they don't really have a long track record. So we're forced to talk about year to date and 1 year. So on a year to date basis, Finx is the winner. It's outperformed by about 400 basis points versus the ARKF. And then on a 1 year basis, Finx has like a little bit of like edge over ARKF, but I think you want to be active in the space. I mean, the winner on a performance basis, which is only a very short time period, is Finx. But I think you want to be careful with just looking at like 1, 2, 3 year returns in general.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Todd, you're up next in terms of performance. Do you agree with John's analysis?
I agree with John's facts. I don't like that he was trying to give active management the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, Finx has been the stronger performer when you line these products up side by side with one another. And it has the longer history if you're focused on more of that past performance. So yeah, Finx would be my winner in this game. It's outperformed in the past, and we actually think it's going to outperform in the future too.
Very good. So if I get this straight, also, active management with Todd is guilty until proven innocent. Would that be fair to say?
Well, you've got to like what's inside the portfolio, and we think there's better alternatives.
Excellent. So next up is the mystery battle category. This is where our judges get to pick that single factor or multiple factors to make their arguments. And Todd, you're up. So give us your mystery category. What is it and who wins it?
So we at CFRA have a rating methodology based on performance, risk, reward, cost, a whole bunch of these factors. And Finx is a 5-star rated ETF. We think it's going to outperform the broader global equity category. We think it's the only one that earns a 5-star to us. We just think this is a well-constructed ETF that's going to outperform over the next 9 months. So my not so mystery category, given that I use it each time, is our forward-looking assessment, and that winner would be Finx.
Very good. Thank you, Todd. You're up next, John. Your mystery battle category, what is it and who wins it?
I would say, this isn't an area that you want to spend a lot of time on when you're talking about disruptive growth, disruptive technology, which is more about, kind of future growth. A lot of these companies aren't, necessarily looking to pay dividends out, but yield is a category that you often talk about on this show. In this case, in the yield category, TPAY, wins. It's 47 basis points, whereas Finx is only 25 basis points, and ARKF is 7 basis points. So TPAY is a very small ETF, like Todd said. It's only 13 million assets, but you get a little bit of yield play when you buy that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Thank you, John. Now we move to the part of the show where our judges get to pick their overall battle winner. So you're still up, John. Which of these 3 ETFs wins today's contest?
I think based on like what I said before, it may seem like a surprise because there's different winners in the category, but we run like this disruptive technology model portfolio just because we have advisors that want it. And we wanted to have a place for fintech. So we just decided that, because we weren't going to be like going in and out of the fintech space, that we would use active management. And I think, Kathy, if there's one portfolio manager that you say, okay, you're going to hire this person to run disruptive growth, who else is it going to be besides her? So we own it. So I'd be remiss to not say that ARKF is the winner from our standpoint for why we chose it. You lose a little bit on performance year to date, but, I think she's got the right stocks. I like that it's aggressive. It's big, weight towards, Shopify, Square. I like Coinbase as well, which is up there. Coinbase is not in the other ETF. So I just think she has a proven track record amongst what she's done in her family. So I give ARKF as my overall category winner.
Thank you, John. Those are some prestigious fintech portfolio names. And now your last opportunity, Todd, to weigh in with your overall battle winner. How do you see it?
So my winner is Finx. I'll use it head to head versus the ARK product because a $15 million ETF, even though we cover it, it's just hard, we think, to put apples to apples with it. So it is the cheaper, better performer, and more broadly diversified of those 2 products. And we at CFRA think it's going to outperform the broader category going forward. So it's why we have a 5-star on it, although I certainly understand John's view on active management. If I can make one last closing comment on it, It sounded like Chuck Knobloch is who submitted this request. And as a Met fan, and I think John's a Met fan as well on this, it's just hard to believe that they're getting reviewed from Met fans as opposed to somebody who's on the dark side of New York.
Does Chuck still have trouble throwing the ball? That was his problem, right? When he was on
that was his problem. Well, I guess we'll have to have him weigh in on this in the comments from this video. Yeah, but that's the one thing that people remember about Chuck Knobloch. I think he was a good hitter too, but boy, that throw from second base to first base was a problem for him.
I checked with this particular viewer, and I think the name is spelled a little bit different. So I don't think it's the same Chuck Knobloch, but I think it is pronounced the same. Unless my pronunciation is off, which would not be a surprise at all.
But anyway, Finx is the winner. Why don't we just declare that, Ron, and we'll go forward.
Well, according to my battle scorecard, the judges have spoken, and today's decision, according to the scorecard, is a split decision, with John preferring ARKF and the active management tilt. Of course, Kathy Wood being one of the best in the business, and trusting her prowess to be able to select among the up-and-comers in the fintech space. John likes that approach much better and trusts that process. Obviously, with somebody as time-tested and proven as Kathy, it's hard to argue with. At the same time, Todd making his argument saying, listen, the index approach, it's a lower cost approach. It's also more diversified, and the performance numbers have also been right up there. So he chose Finx as his choice. I think each of our judges make some strong arguments, and we appreciate the cognitive dissonance. I think it adds to the show. The difference in varying opinions certainly helps to increase our perspective, and hopefully with the idea of helping you, the viewers, to make informed investment choices, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And then once we get you to make informed decisions, the goal after that is hopefully to have those decisions become profitable outcomes. Well, that does it for today's round of ETF Battles. A huge thanks to Todd and John for a remarkable job at dissecting today's matchup. So which ETF Battles would you like to see in our upcoming episodes? Tell us in our YouTube comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter at ETF Guide. That's our handle. Be sure to hashtag ETF Battles. Thanks for watching. I'm Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide TV. We'll see you next time.